All right. So, I've gotten a lot of requests to talk about Han and how it plays into different meta decks via Facebook, some comments, and I thought it would be really kind of interesting, maybe, just to talk out some plays on Forcetable, which is just against AIs, but at the end of the day, it's still, uh, I think, the best way to go about like theorizing, and chatting about what's going to happen. Obviously, the AI might not make the best play, but we can still talk about what my game plan is. All right, so we'll start with Sabine. If you like this format, I can do it against Boba and Control, and we can, go from there. So again, we are up against Sabine, and we do have some early game here. We've got a Greedo, we've got double Leia, and we've got some late game we don't mind mulliganing. So I'm actually going to keep this hand, and we're just going to mulligan our two late game plays, and we will play our Greedo. Now maybe they arena dodge, they go for the ping off the bat. Pretty common because they're going to lose initiative anyway. So we just take initiative. So they don't arena dodge, they go with their battlefield marine. We draw one of our own, which is pretty good. We don't need two Leias, so we can pop one down. And then here, it's just best to trade off immediately. No need to use Greedo. The Battlefield Marine dies. Oh, they go straight for a cause on 3. It's interesting. So they're going to hit us for 4. All right. So they'll get initiative back off that. Obviously, they didn't discard any cards. Not the best play to do that, but that's how it goes. So they just ping. Okay, so we'll keep initiative here. All right, so we have our Syndicate lackeys, which is really strong. So we don't need Han Solo. Even though we only have one left in the deck, we don't need Han at this point. We've got lackeys for this turn. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in for our attack. And they'll Sabine ping. Okay, we'll use Han's ability. I don't expect needing Traitorous right now. Their board is pretty clear. And they flip Sabine. And a lot of times that's pretty common because they don't expect Syndicate lackeys. So we trigger lackeys to ambush Sabine and we live. It's kind of a blowout, honestly. They go to Donna. We just take initiative. Doesn't matter. Really good spot for us here. So here we can probably resource the Echo Base Defender. Because this surprise strike can end the game for us since they're running a 25 HP base. We'll just pop the Han. We're going to just start off by clearing this. No reason to keep that buff on the board, and them just getting an attack in doesn't make any sense. So they go for the ping because it's an AI. But still here, we are ahead, very far ahead, because that's Syndicate lackeys, which they did not see coming. And I think we can easily just play Bright Hope here. We don't need to return, and we don't need to use Han here as well. So we're just going to keep initiative. We have a gunship, which is good. We don't need 2 surprise strikes at this point. So now we're in a place where we can pretty heavily race them. So we're just going to be going for base now because we've got 5 damage on board, right? So we'll get another 2 in. And I guess we could have kept surprise strike, but it's not really necessary. So we're just going to focus on their base now because the Syndicate lackeys is just such a big blowout, right? They ping. Obviously not the best play. We're going to deploy our leader. They go K2 with ECL, taking that out, David 1 to our base. And then we just surprise strike on Han to threaten lethal next turn. So they're at 2, really dire for them, and then we're just gonna ambush their last space unit, and the game is over. uh, and that can really happen in real life. If you can bait that Sabine flip and they're not even thinking about syndicate lackeys, um, they're in big trouble. We don't need a second Bright Hopes, we can just get rid of that. But as we know, the game's over. They'll get in a few damage. Oh, we have to destroy a resource. It's always good to destroy your units for home one, really, or Rogue Squadron. And then we just attack for game. So I've done that real life, and it works. Just that 4 resource, using Han to get 5, and then even passing and making them miss that whole turn sometimes is worth it. Like if they're like, oh, you just pass, it's worth it. Take as many actions as you can, so that they feel safe in deploying Sabine at that point. Obviously, my ground arena was pretty empty, so it seemed safe, but it wasn't. So we'll go one more just again to talk through this matchup a little bit. So here's a really good hand. I think we definitely don't want a mulligan. So we've got a solid amount of units here in both sides. So like we have the Marine and we've got a good space hand. So this is definitely gonna feel pretty good for us. So we'll start off with the Battlefield Marine. And they're gonna ping. Pretty common on turn 1. Get the ball rolling. We're gonna take initiative. They go for their own Battlefield Marine. And we continue. Again, we drew the lackeys. I don't think we're going to need waylay with all of our space units and everything. So we're going to trade Battlefield Marines because we don't want to get any unnecessary damage this turn. They go for their Sabine ping. And now we're going to start getting ahead because of Millennium Falcon. So they go for A-Wing. Which I'm actually going to trade into. So we take a very favorable trade for us. They take initiative, and we pass. We're going to bounce Falcon here. We're not going to pay for it. We're going to put Traitorous down, and we are not going to do the Falcon. So we'll use Han. Again, we're trying to get that Sabine out. So we'll put the gunship down because we want to keep 2 surprise strike. It's pretty wide open here. So they go for the Sabine and we hit them with the blowout. Truly, this is very strong. It's a very strong play because this is going to trade twice. They played the data again. Now we get to take initiative and they're in trouble. We do another lackeys and another Falcon. I'm pretty comfortable getting rid of this. And we want to blow up a unit always if we can, so we'll blow up a cheap Leia just in case we draw a skirmisher. We'll favorably trade here and see what they play. So we're gonna go for Falcon for sure. I don't think we need to do anything else. We have, so they go for K2. That's totally fine with me. So we hit them for 3. They go for an R2. And we take initiative here. I don't mind waiting to deploy. So Han Solo is kind of big here. I don't foresee us needing to Traitorous. We can't even Traitorous a K2SO anyway. But we're not going to pay for the Falcon. I think that's fair. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Han. We'll dump a Falcon here. They go for Rebel Assaults. Kind of feels bad. But it'd be like that sometimes. So we're going to take a boatload of damage. That's okay. Because now we will just kill K2SO will take 3 more damage, but we don't take any back. They Sabine ping, and then we get to deploy Han. And we'll deal 4 damage to their base as well. That's nothing. And we are, what's crazy here is, even though after all that, we are representing lethal next turn because of the 1 surprise strike. So yeah, they're in trouble for sure. We don't need the lackeys anymore, so we can get rid of that. And we will just get rid of traitorous, because whatever. And we'll get rid of waylay, sure. So now we can just attack with our leader, since it's got no chance of dying. We know that they're not playing anything, and then we surprise strike in for 9 to win the game. And that is sometimes how this goes. So I'll do one more of Sabine, but I'll go second in this game. So you can just see how that plays out, where you don't have initiative all the time. So this hand is not good, so we will mulligan. We got the Falcon, but not great. This hand is a little bit better. So we're going to resource the Reinforced Walker, because we are playing 2, and we've got time to get there. Waylay is not super useful right now. We'll hold on to the resupply, because we might end up playing it, but we'll see what happens. So in this situation, when I open stuff like this, like, I just take initiative. I don't care. Do what you gotta do. I have Leia, so I can stop the attack, right? They didn't even have a turn 1 play. What? So that's an easy resupply for us. If they have no pressure, that's why we kept this, so that we can ramp. I feel good about ramping. It is fine. So that's never going to happen. You get really lucky if that happens, but wow. Getting to ramp there is pretty huge for us. I don't care. So we're up 2 HP technically. That's crazy that we're able to do it. So I don't want to get rid of this just yet. Because of where we are. Because we're already at 5 resources. So I just want to get down the Greedo and the Echo Base Defender this turn. Might even Leia here. So the Echo Base is quite good. But I think doing this is fine. And then next turn we go Reinforcement Walker, and we probably win the game. So we're just going to take initiative. Sabine gets big. She's a big girl, but she still has 3 HP left, so Greedo can take her out. So I don't need this anymore because Sabine's dead. So we're going to attack with Greedo. We can't let Sabine get in. And then we're going to go for our early ramp play. So they heroic sacrifice in for 4. But we're so far ahead. We're about to be so far ahead. So we don't even need Leia. So we're going to take our action ability here. We don't need Leia at this point because yeah, it's like too late for her. Who cares? We're going to take our leader. We're going to go for the base. Well, they're kind of swarming a little bit. So actually, I'm going to safely pop one of the rebels so we don't get rebel assaulted, which is what it feels like they're setting up for. Just in case. So then Reinforcement Walker. I don't need the traitorous. We're healing, and this game is over. They got nothing going. They had no turn 1 play, and we had a resupply. We got very lucky with the draw there. And we can kind of play this one pretty slow. And we have a Spark Rebellion and U-Ring Reinforcement. So we'll kill Leia. and we'll kill lackeys. So our goal here is to... Okay, so they ambush the Han. Which trade, so we don't get that, which sucks. But we can U-wing to start here. See what we hit. So we do it Falcon. So this is actually pretty strong. So we can go Falcon, Leia, Battlefield Marine. So we just swarm her. We're not going to let that come in. And the game is very, very over. Obviously, we have a Walker 2 turns early. We're dealing 9 damage and healing again. I don't care about that. We're just going to heal. Just stay out of range and the game is over. So we'll just close this out. But we did get lucky. And which can happen. You know, there could be a world where the opponent mulligans and they somehow don't draw turn 1 play. You know, even as a deck that should have always have one. It'd be like that sometimes. You know, it really does. Or sacrifice. So they're gonna go in. I'm just gonna start with a Spark of Rebellion just to see. This is what I would do in real life, to see if I can hit it for a cause or something. Yeah, I don't need K2SO in my life, so we'll just get that out of here. They go Wing Leader. So we're just gonna... Again, and this is a game I would just play very slow. In real life, there's no sense of rushing. Like 6 to the base, sure. But with that ping, I think we actually have lethal anyway, right? So 3 here brings them to 17. Leia brings them to 19, and then we've got 6 with Surprise Strike. So because they pinged, which again, your opponent probably wouldn't do at this point anyway, Surprise Strike is a really good finisher into an ECL. So that's basically the aggro matchup. I mean, kind of how it always plays out with this version of the deck, running 2 Reinforcement Walker in the main deck and 2 home 1s. You can, again, like I said, pretty safely delay your leader in this matchup unless you're getting like immensely pressured, to go for that Reinforcement Walker play a turn early, if you need to. Again, I didn't have a good turn 1 play either. I had a Leia if I needed it, but because they went for a cause, which probably wouldn't happen, but even if they just played 1 unit and they had to skip that turn, the resupply is huge. 9 times out of 10 in a game 1, you're going to want to resource that resupply in the aggro matchup. But I felt confident in holding it just to see, because I didn't have a good turn 1 play anyway. So my best option was to kind of get initiative, play Leia, and exhaust a unit when it came out to kind of play like a pseudo sentinel for the phase. And it just worked out that I was able to ramp and then get this Reinforcement Walker out very fast. But yeah, you're gonna really try and use your Millennium Falcon and Ozatux to control the board in aggro, and your Sentinels to slow down the ground until you can get that lackeys out to destroy the Sabine. In this version, I think I'm back to 2 lackeys in the main deck. Again, it really just depends on your metagame. If you're seeing a lot of Sabine, Syndicate lackeys is very strong, if you couldn't tell. I mean, it just single-handedly wins you the game against aggro. So highly recommend at least 1 or 2 in the main as a toolbox for yourself. Yeah, so let me know if this was helpful, if you have any questions. Obviously, this is against an AI, but still pretty much not to be a dick. But sometimes playing aggro players is kind of like playing against an AI. They just go face, they just go face, they just go face. The play patterns are pretty similar, so outside of probably the way that they take initiative in this game, I don't realize like the game's over, you know. So some of those final turns are a little bit different in person, obviously, taking the initiative and stuff. But for the most part, they just ignore what you're doing and try and end the game. And it's really important to think through what they could have. So when, you know, getting that Spark of Rebellion, when you need to hit the for a cause, stuff like that. You know, if you draw the Walker, how can you realize, like, do you have the time to delay your leader and start healing? Because that heal 3 sometimes just ends the game. You know what I mean? Because it's a heal 3, they don't get the reach, and then you get initiative, and then you heal another 3, start clearing the board. So uh, that's pretty much how it plays out right now. Um, yeah, I don't have too much trouble typically with Sabine Green or Sabine Yellow. I haven't played too much against Sabine Red, so I don't know. Leia can be a little bit harder because it's a thicker body, and instead of the lackeys, because Leia's coming out one turn later anyway, you're looking for Han Solo in that matchup, because Han will one shot her. So yeah, so then you can kind of do your standard Han turn on their Leia turn, and go for a U-wing to hit Han Solo. So that's the biggest difference. Is lackeys is less good, still good because it's still trading 2-for-1 into most of their ground units, um, but it's not trading into the leader, where Han Solo unit is what you want. So you can do your standard like U-wing turn and go for a Han Solo on the ground at that point. Yeah, let me know if this is useful, and then I can make a video like this on Boba and Control, and we can kind of talk through how to play the deck because it's tricky. I get it. Let me know in the comments again if you have any questions, and I'll see you next time.